Hi everybody, I'm Ryan. Today we're going to talk about Historic, which is an arena-only format which basically has all the cards that were in standard since Magic Arena had been released so people could keep playing with their standard cards. They also modify the cards, sort of like Hearthstone does, and you can play with alchemy cards, which sort of are like Hearthstone cards. But we're here to do a deck tech on Red, Black, Midrange, and Historic, which is my favorite Historic deck. Let's jump into it. So for those of you that have played Pioneer, this deck is really similar to the Red, Black, Midrange deck in Pioneer. But let's go through it card for card. The lands are pretty straightforward. We're playing red, black lands, trying to make sure we have access to red and black mana, black on turn 1, also red on turn 2, double red on turn 3, and double black on turn 4. We're playing the Takenuma Sokinzon, obviously, and 2 Den of the Bugbear alongside 2 Hive of the Eye Tyrant and 1 Castle Lochlane. The reason we're only playing 1 castle is we can't really afford to play a ton of swamps, because it's really important that we're able to cast Seasoned Pyromancer on turn 3. As far as our 1-drops go, we're playing 4 Thoughtseize. Thougtseize is just one of the best black cards ever printed, being able to punish your opponent for mulligans and get rid of cards that you're really worried about. 2 Inquisition of Kozilek. Most of the cards your opponents are going to play are going to cost 3 or less, so it's kind of Thoughtseize and you don't have to lose life. But because of the downside of not being able to hit the 4 mana cards, we're only playing 2 Inquisition of Kozilek, so 6 discard spells total. Playing 4 Fatal Push. Fatal Push is an amazing removal spell, especially since we have a lot of different ways to trigger the revolt, including the treasures off Crucias, Crucias, the blood tokens off Blood Tithe Harvester, the treasures off Fable, etc., etc. To round out our removal suite, we're also playing 1 Go for the Throat, 2 Heartless Act, and 1 Shieldred's Edict. I like splitting Heartless Act and Go for the Throat. We're playing more Go for the Throat in the sideboard, by the way. The reason I like splitting the 2 is Historic, especially the ranked version of Historic, is pretty diverse, and I really don't want to be in a situation where I can't kill something. And then we're playing 1 Shieldred's Edict just so we can take out the Aura's deck if needed, or having Planeswalker removal is pretty powerful. And we're playing 1 Molten Impact. Molten Impact is kind of a cool card, dealing 4 damage to something, and then next time you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets something, it deals any excess damage it had. This can be really good alongside Heartless Act by removing counters, dealing like 2 or 3 XX damage to something, which is really, really cool. But also, we're mostly playing it for Planeswalker removal. This allows us to be able to hit Planeswalkers very easily, sort of alongside Shieldred's Edict, but also it can hit like most creatures we care about as well. Playing 4 Blood Tithe Harvester. Blood Tithe Harvester is just one of the best 2-drops in black and red, being a removal spell and a beater, and can use the blood tokens to like filter a card draw. We're playing 2 Crucias. Crucias being like a total game ender if it escapes. 4 Fable the Mirror Breaker. Fable the Mirror Breaker is the best mid-range card printed in a very, very long time, where even if they deal with a creature, there are 2 more things coming at your opponent, allows you to filter, allows you to apply pressure, and end the game if you have the right combination of cards when Fable the Mirror Breaker finally flips. 4 Seasoned Pyromancer to be able to make sure that we remain fueled up in our, I guess, aggression we could call it, but really just like mid-range, being able to discard cards we don't care about. Speaking of discarding cards we don't care about, Crucias, kind of young Pyromancer, is just kind of a worse Crucias in this deck. Crucias is probably the best card in our deck. Crucias allows us to, on our end step, discard a card, and then choose Ambitious or Expedient. If we choose Ambitious, then we'll seek a card with a greater mana value than the discarded card, which means you'll get a random card out of your deck that is of a higher mana value than the discarded card, or we can choose Expedient to seek a card with lesser mana value than the discarded card, and you create a treasure token. So it ramps you, allows you to get better cards than you have in your hand, and sometimes it can tutor you, which I'll explain when we talk about our sideboard. I played 3 Shieldred. Shield is just an amazing game ender, very, very good, and being able to like discard a Seasoned Pyromancer or something with Crucias to automatically tutor the Shieldred, because it's the only 4-drop in our deck, is amazing. When we look at our sideboard, we're playing 3 Duress. I can't bring it up for some reason, I hate this. We're playing 3 Duress, decks that have a lot of non-creature spells like Control that we want to get rid of, or there's some combo decks in this format. We're playing 2 Unlicensed Hearths to deal with Graveyard Hate. We're playing 2 Brotherhood End. Again, I can't really move this around. I don't really know what to do here. Just for decks that go super wide. 2 Extinction Event, mostly for mono green, but also it's a fine board wipe against other decks that go super wide. 2 Go for the Throat. I found that in my testing that I needed more removal to I had too many cards I wanted to take out against decks like Wizards, but also extra removal is pretty good in the mirror match, and really any deck that plays a ton of creatures. And then the last 4 cards on my sideboard, I'm going to talk about this Crucias tutoring. If you bring in these cards, maybe except for the Chandra, you're probably in a situation where you're bringing out Shieldred. Let me go through them. If you're bringing in Knight of Soul's Betrayal, it is against decks that go hyper wide with a lot of X1 creatures. If that is happening, you know, like with tokens or something like that, you bring in Knight of Soul's Betrayal, you board out the Shieldred so that you can always discard a Fable, a redundant Crucias, or a Seasoned Pyromancer to always tutor Knight of Soul's Betrayal out of your deck, and then you can always play it super, super reliably just with a Crucias. And so you only board this in and board out the Shieldreds when this card will almost definitely win you the game. Same thing with Shadowstorm, exact same idea. We board it against artifact decks. We only need one in our deck because when we board it in, we take out Shieldred so it can always be tutored up with Crucias. Chandra is probably the non-silver bullet, you know, in this category. One kind of cool thing about Chandra is we can tutor it up by discarding a Shieldred, which kind of feels bad. However, it's a mid-range breaker, it's a control breaker. You know, if you cast this against a deck that is going slow, you will just win the game. I think this is like better than Teferi. This card is absolutely nuts. There you have Red Black Midrange in Historic. If you like this video and want to see more videos like this, please be sure to like and subscribe. Check me out on social medias. Links are above me and in the description. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.